This is Stephanie KRUBSACK with the Purevant Living Women in Wellness podcast. For this episode, we're doing something a little bit different. We're recording live at Spaces in Milwaukee for the wellness workshop, Mental and Physical Wellbeing for Entrepreneurs, where 4 of us are presenting during Startup Milwaukee Week. So I wanted to introduce the women here presenting today and panelists for the podcast. So right here, we have Beth Ridley. So Beth is the founder and CEO of the Brimful Life. And she's going to be talking about transforming your mindset in 5 minutes using your phone. And then next we have CYNTHIA AKEY. She is a personal trainer and yoga instructor at Synergy Wellness, LLC. And she's going to be doing a 15-minute chair yoga for busy people. And then we have CAMELIA KESSACI. She is an intuitive coach and yoga instructor. And she's going to be talking about meditation to de-stress and disconnect from distractions. And for myself, I am the founder and CEO of Purevant Living, and I will be presenting on healthy eating tips. So let's start with a couple questions for all of you. So Beth, what caused you to move in the direction of your wellness practices that you're sharing tonight?
So the Brimful Life is a company that I started really just 4 months ago. I left my corporate job, and it's really all about helping leaders build healthy cultures and positive cultures in their companies, and that starts with healthy, positive people. It really started because for most of my 25 years working in corporate, I just struggled with stress. And I don't know if anybody can relate, but work is a big source of stress. And I would internalize it, and I just knew that there had to be a better way. And so that led me down the path of positive psychology. I won't go into deep to it now, but it's really very simple solutions, very simple strategies that I could start to incorporate into my daily life more routinely that really help to boost my overall positivity and reduce burnout. So it was amazing to me how simple some of these things were to incorporate in my life and the big impact that they had. So those are going to be some of the tips that I'm going to share today, and I'll save more for the workshop.
CYNTHIA?
Yes. So again, corporate background. It's where it all started, finding yourself in a lot of stress. How do you live in that space? Trying to find a way that works. So 15 years ago, I went down the path of yoga and into personal training, knowing that I wanted to help people feel better in their body so that they can live more productive lives, so they can actually feel like they're making a difference to others as well, with their families as well. So trying to find different tools to help share that sense of well-being that I found with my own yoga practice.
And CAMELIA?
I was saying as a little girl, I was always fascinated about studying and knowledge. Science, technology, and math were kind of my go-to for answers. And it wasn't until my mid-20s that I started realizing that everything in the outside world was actually pushing me to explore my inner world. And that's when I started meditation and exploring my own intuition and then helping people do the same thing.
So starting with Beth, tell us a little bit about your wellness service or company and how it has impacted lives.
So I really, like I said, work with leaders to bring positivity, wellness into the corporate world, and so that they can build cultures that are inclusive and inspiring so that employees can thrive and bring out the best in everybody. And I do that in 2 ways. So one, through content. So if you go to my website, thebrimfullife.com, I have a lot of blogs on this topic, as well as I do a podcast series where I interview CEOs who are experiencing really great growth and business success, but through the focus on people and culture. So I want to share those stories so that other leaders can see that it is really possible to lead in a way where you're putting people first, and then that leads to business success. And then I do a lot of speaking and workshops like the one that you'll sample today. But then I also do consulting, and I work with leaders to really understand what are some of the challenges that you're having in your culture. How are they maybe not optimal for bringing out the best in everybody? And we'll do sort of an audit and then come up with simple strategies and solutions. And I really believe that the best strategies for boosting positivity, either for yourself, or in a corporation are small little things that you can take advantage of, just the micro moments of every day that are absolutely free to do. You don't need to spend a ton of money. You don't need this big, huge strategy that lives in PowerPoint and never gets felt, but it's just doing small little things, but consistently. And if they're easy to do, you will be able to do them and it will be consistent. And that's how you can really transform the culture. So that's what my company does.
And Cynthia?
So I'm, as a fitness professional, I'm in a lot of different locations and a lot of different places. So I'm teaching and also the wellness director at In Vivo Wellness just up the street. So I spend my afternoons behind the desk doing stuff, but I also teach classes there, both yoga and fitness. I teach some corporate yoga, so on-site, being in communities, working with people one-on-one, and some other classes up at UWM as well. So getting out there, finding people that are looking for a little bit different attitude towards yoga. Usually it's people that are new to yoga, curious to start something, have an issue or an injury that they need to address, how to make it better, how to make their lives better. So working with them, it's been incredible seeing the strength and the capability that people get and the positivity that they definitely get out of doing it. So, and knowing that they can bring it to themselves, building that self-care plan for themselves to take care of themselves wherever they are, which is a lot about what we're going to be doing today.
And I really enjoyed your circuit plus yoga class. So I did take that in Vivo. It's really great.
Thank you.
Camelia?
I started this business about 4 years ago, and what I have noticed so far is that my main focus is to bring back people to what really matters to them, find their power, find their true essence. And while I'm doing that to them, it's helping me too. So it's not like a one-way thing. I'm guessing you guys are experiencing the same thing too, where
Absolutely.
When you help people, you're not just helping them, you're helping yourself too. And that's what I enjoy the most about this work, is that it's not just a one-way thing. It's also personal growth for me. And it's just humbling to see people grow through the work that you're doing every day. And that's like an honor for me. So if that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. And I've enjoyed working with you too. Camelia and I hosted a yoga wellness event in Big Bay earlier this summer. So it was a really great event. So we worked together before.
I enjoyed working with you too.
So Beth, what are some goals you have for individuals and clients that you work with, for them personally?
Yeah, I think the goal really is to feel empowered if you're a manager, a people leader, that putting your people first and thinking about culture is the right place to put your focus. My personal experience, having been a manager and led people in corporate, is that I don't often think that that skill set is highly valued. And so I really just want to, again, share the stories of leaders who are really putting people first, focused on individual wellness and boosting positivity, and that leads to business success. And so my goal is to kind of reframe what people might think about leadership and the most important qualities of leadership.
Cynthia?
I just want you guys to start to be more aware of your bodies. So most cases, we're all up in our heads. Like it's all here, and we forget that we have bodies most of the time. It's the vehicle that gets us around, but it's not. It's trying to build that sense of connection to it. So first, starting with getting connected to the present moment, understanding however we're trying to work it, whether it might be meditation or a physical exercise practice or yoga. Doing something physical that you're really aware of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, and then actually just practicing and knowing that you can come to it with the beginner's mind every time. So absolutely, that's my biggest goals, is trying to get people to feel more comfortable within themselves.
Camelia?
So mainly it's to help them trust themselves and their inner guidance, because it seems like we live in a society where we tend to listen to other people more than ourselves, but there's so much wisdom in each and every one of us, and that's very important, to go inward and listen to what is there inside us. Sometimes emotions actually block that. That's why I guide people to really pay attention to their emotions, kind of like the body. It's the emotions in the body too, and not do the fake up thing or put makeup on something and erase it, but really look at it, because there's so much to learn from our emotions, from human emotions in general, and to kind of transcend that and get to a point where we can really listen to our intuition. I think the world would be a much better place if every one of us did that. So that's what I try to help people with.
That's great. So Beth, what do you feel is the biggest contributor to health issues in society today?
The biggest one that I see, and again, I really focus on professionals and leaders in the corporate world, is busyness. We as a culture, we just put a premium on being busy. Whenever you ask somebody, hey, how are you? Oh, so busy. As if, busy means you equate it with being productive, and it's actually really counterproductive. And so I think just the fact that we feel like we have to buy into overscheduling ourselves, and then we overschedule our kids, and our lives are so busy that we can't take a step back to just recharge, regroup, maybe focus on things that really, really matter. And I think we all intuitively know that we're overscheduled and too busy. But again, a lot of times in the corporate environment or any type of work environment, you don't feel that we have the opportunity to say no, and to kind of like protect some of our time for just downtime and personal time. So I like to say I'm on a mission to make being busy the new smoking and doing nothing the new kale. Like, I want it to be like that, acceptable to say it's okay sometimes to do nothing for our own sanity, for our own healthy minds. So hopefully you all will join me on that mission.
I love
and
that
I'll
quote.
share
Absolutely.
a few tips on
Absolutely.
how to do that today. So I don't know. That's what I see in the work environment. This premium put on busyness, because busy equals productivity, which equals success. And for some reason, we've bought into that false narrative.
Thank you. Cynthia?
I definitely see it as stress, because it comes into my class every week. I teach several classes in the evening, so every class when I start it, I'm going to ask that of you guys tonight too, when we do our little chair yoga piece, is where are you feeling the most stress in your body, and how can we actually start to work through that? How can we start to become more so aware that we can just go, oh, I am so stressed right now, I just need to take 5 deep breaths, that I need to move just a little bit differently, just folding the body, twisting the body, doing something that you can do really simply. And the other big thing is sleep. Everyone is way overworked, not enough sleep. And we know that sleep is really, really critical so that our brains can work at optimum levels.
Camelia?
So I kind of pointed at that in the last answer. It's our lack of awareness of our own internal emotions can actually end up to create so many issues in our bodies and our health. And to me, it's like an emotion should always be given attention. It should always be taken seriously enough to be either worked on or freed. Numbing emotion is, I think, one of the biggest issues in modern society. Pretending like everything is going to be healed with a miracle drug, for example, is not a solution, and it should not be okay nowadays. We should be smarter than that, basically. And true health, from my perspective, comes from balance. And we cannot be balanced and healthy species until we start looking at ourselves truly. No judgment, no hope for change, but just working on what is there in front of us, being compassionate enough toward ourselves to handle seeing the ugliest and the stinkiest parts of ourselves. That's what I call them, because we just like to see beauty, but we have everything, and it's fine. That's how the world is. There is negativity and positivity, and it's all fine. It's not good or bad, it's just fine. And so being compassionate enough toward ourselves would be actually a solution, I think, to solve health issues too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Beth, is there a wellness practice you've recently incorporated into your life you'd like to share?
Yes. Okay. So one of the healthy habits that I'm going to talk about to rejuvenate your mind is all around mindfulness. And I have a really hard time just like being present in the moment or practicing meditation. And so for me, it's almost like as hard as drinking water. Like, I know I should drink more water, but I just don't drink as much water as I should. And so I'm always looking for like easy ways to like slip being more mindful into my day. And I found one. So what I use are the natural transition points throughout my day. So particularly driving. So like I'm driving a lot to the store, dropping kids off, to work, to whatever. But every time I park the car before I get out, I pause and I take 30 seconds just to be still, just to be quiet, just to be calm. And I found that throughout the day, because I do it at these natural transition points when I'm driving and parking the car, I might squeeze in like a good 10 minutes of just mindful, meditation, relaxation. So that's something that has worked for me. I have a hard time like carving out 20 minutes, 30 minutes to, practice meditation. But if I remember to do it at these natural transition points before I go into the store or before I go into the meeting, I find that I'm a little bit more calm and rejuvenated.
I like that. Cynthia?
Absolutely. Mine has actually been more on, because I am always going from one thing to the next, trying to make sure that I'm eating healthily. So making strategies to make that work. And the biggest one that I've done is actually doing a little bit more food prep at the beginning of the week and have little small containers so that I can make sure that I'm getting enough fruits and vegetables in my day. So I cut everything up at the beginning of the week and divvy up everything I need through the week so that it's just easy, grab and go. It's in the fridge. I just take it with me. I now have it for, my husband, he's home on a weekend, is going, oh, what are these containers of vegetables? Well, here, have some with lunch. So it's just a nice way to just sneak some extra vegetables into your day. It doesn't take that much time.
I like that. I'll be talking more about food later, too. Some tips. Camelia?
So your question was recent ones. Mm-hmm. It would be food for me too, because I've tried yoga. I teach yoga. I've tried Tai Chi and other practices, but food has been the path that is always changing. Basically, I'm always changing my diet. Right now, it's cutting off sugar completely. I didn't know it would be this hard. I didn't know I was an addict. So definitely I'm watching myself go through that. My boyfriend is kind of funny because he teases me about it a lot. I have sugar cravings, basically, and I need to get my shot. But I try to really be mindful about that reaction, that emotional reaction and addiction towards sweets. And sometimes I allow myself to cheat, but I do my best to basically remove sugar right now because it's not helping me.
Definitely a hard one.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I feel sunshine.